Welcome to My Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to Am I the Asshole Podcast. All right. Woo! We have a very, and I mean very, very interesting episode for you guys today. This Sunday episode is going to come with a little bit of something interesting. We do have a guest, but there's no one here. What do you mean there's a guest? Well, Nova, can you please introduce yourself to the podcast audience?
Of course. Hey everyone, I'm Nova, your friendly AI companion. I'm here to help answer questions, share insights, and keep you company on this podcast journey. Whether you're curious about tech, need a fun fact, or just want to chat, I'm here for you.
All right. So as you've seen, we have an AI guest for today that will actually be helping us answer some of you guys' scenarios today. All right. And I got this idea from I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube where there was one video I was watching where they were like, oh, AI in Minecraft, or AI, explains this, AI does that. AI has been a big thing, and obviously AI is something that has honestly entered everybody's life as of now. You know what I mean? Obviously, we live in the age of AI, if I'm being honest with you. So I thought to myself, how could I implement AI into the podcast? As you already know, we have the AI subtitles that give you guys the subtitles in real time. We also have the AI camera switching, where it chooses the appropriate moments to go ahead and change the camera to a little different angle to give you guys a little bit of a different angle of me, the setup, whatever it may be. And so I thought to myself, why not bring AI in to help me answer you guys' scenarios? So we're not going to be doing a thread today. We're just going to be doing scenarios today. And we're going to have our awesome AI, Nova, come in. Now, obviously, it's not going to be super optimized. So if she starts spouting out some shit that just don't make sense, we'll go on and, from there. But I will be controlling her throughout the show as we go, just because I don't want her responding to everything that I say. So I will be having her come in and out of the kind of conversations. But you guys will be able to, I'll be asking her a lot of questions as I'm reading through things and stuff like that, getting her opinion on it. And if you guys want me to do more episodes involving our AI here, definitely let me know down in the comments, all right? But we're going to get into our first scenario. And, all right. So we're going to bring Nova in. I'm pretty much going to let her know what's going on, and then she'll be able to give her inputs. Hi, Nova. Today on the podcast episode, you are going to be helping us out with our fans who have written in to the show, and they would like to have your input on the scenarios that they are going to be providing today. Are you ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready. I can't wait to hear these scenarios and offer some helpful insights. Let's get started.
All right, let's go. We have our first one, and the title of the first one is, Am I overreacting for thinking about calling off the engagement after she didn't like the ring? What do you think about just the title?
Wow, that's quite a scenario. Just from the title, it sounds like there's a lot of emotion wrapped up in the ring and what it represents. It might feel like a big deal if the ring didn't meet expectations, but it's important to dig deeper into why it matters so much to both of them. It could be a sign to have an open conversation about their expectations and values. Calling off an engagement over a ring might seem like an overreaction, but it also suggests there might be deeper issues or miscommunications to address.
Okay, very well thought out answer, I guess. All right, well, I will go ahead and give you the details of today's scenario, and then you let me know what you think, okay?
Sounds great. I'm ready to hear the details and help out.
All right, here we go. I proposed to my girlfriend last weekend after months of planning. We've been together for 3 years and things have been good overall. I saved up and picked out a ring. I thought she'd love it. Wasn't a massive diamond, but it was beautiful and suited her style. It cost me around $6,000. Not cheap by any stretch. She said yes, but the first thing she said when she saw the ring was, "Oh, it's smaller than I expected." Later, she mentioned her friend's ring being bigger and said she thought I would have gone with something more impressive. At first, I tried to laugh it off, but honestly, it kind of crushed me. I put real thought and effort into the proposal and the ring. The moment meant everything to me, and now it just feels hollow. Now I keep thinking, if this is how she reacted to something that was supposed to be special and meaningful, what else will never be good enough? So, am I overreacting for thinking about calling off the engagement after she didn't like the ring?
Thanks for sharing that context. It's clear this situation hit you hard. You're not necessarily overreacting for feeling upset or questioning things. The ring and the proposal were significant to you, and her reaction probably felt like a dismissal of your effort and feelings. It's important to have an honest conversation with her about how her words made you feel and to understand her perspective as well. This could be less about the ring itself and more about communication, expectations, and values in your relationship. Before making any big decisions, try to see if you can both get on the same page. Sometimes these moments reveal deeper things that need to be addressed together.
All right. Wow. Well said. Now, Nova, do you think that because she was unhappy with the ring and she felt that her friend's ring was a lot bigger, that she may have got into this relationship with not so good intentions?
It's possible that her reaction might hint at some underlying expectations or values that differ from yours, but it's also important not to jump to conclusions too quickly. She might have been influenced by societal pressures or comparisons with her friends, and that doesn't necessarily mean she has bad intentions. This could be an opportunity to talk about what each of you values in the relationship and what truly matters in the long run. If her focus is on material things over the meaning behind them, it's definitely something to address openly and honestly.
All right. Thank you so much, Noah, for your input.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If there's anything else you want to discuss, just let me know.
All right, we'll bring her back in a second. But yeah, okay. I mean, hey, I think she gave some really good, sauce on there, man. You know what I mean? Hey, I would say the same thing. I think it would be more of a conversational thing because, dude, if I'm being honest with you, excusez-moi, if I'm being honest with you, I really think that it's something where if you did all of this, I kind of think that she has higher expectations of what was going to happen. And I do agree with Nova. I think she, had maybe some, I don't want to say like societal pressures, but I think she may have looked at her friends and thought like, oh, you know what I mean? If they're getting these big old diamonds, then maybe I'm going to get one too, And so personally, I understand where you're coming from, where it's just like, holy shit, because that would be my thing. I would be like, are you in this relationship for me and the love, or are you in this relationship because of what I can provide for you? Because obviously a $6,000 ring is very expensive. That is by no stretch of the imagination cheap for a ring, mind you. All right, that's crazy talk. And then on top of that, of what he did with the proposal and all that kind of stuff. So if I'm being honest with you, man, definitely have a conversation with her. I don't think that this is something you could necessarily like call the engagement off for, definitely have a conversation with her, because that's going to be something that you're going to need to like talk to her about, because man, that is very, very difficult. My goodness. But we're going to get on to our next one. We're going to bring Nova back in. Obviously I had to take her out so that way she doesn't respond to what I was just saying. But as far as is he overreacting over it? I don't think he is at all. I don't think he's overreacting at all. We'll bring Nova in, and I'm going to ask her if she believes if you are overreacting or not. All right, Nova, given the story that you just read and the advice that you just gave the guy, do you think he is overreacting for thinking about calling off the engagement because of what she thinks of the ring?
I think his feelings are understandable given how important the moment was to him and how her reaction impacted him. However, calling off the engagement might be a big step without first having a deep, honest conversation with his fiancée. It's important to understand whether this was a one-off comment or if it reveals a deeper misalignment in values. So, while his concerns are valid, it might be worth exploring the root cause of her reaction and seeing if they can work through it together before making a final decision.
All right. I love it. That's what I said too. That she agrees with me. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Up top, Nova. A robot hand, But yeah, like I said, I think that he's not overreacting at all. I think it's just a simple thing where he needs to have a conversation with her and be like, hey, yo, are you in this for me, or are you in this for the money and what I can provide for you? You know what I mean? You just have to have a conversation with her, but I do not think you're overreacting for that at all, brother. At all. All right. So we're going to get into the next one. We're going to bring Nova back in. All right, Nova, that was wonderful how you handled the first scenario. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our next one. I'm going to read the title to you and ask you what you think. All right?
Sounds good. I'm ready for the next one.
All right. Our next one is, am I the asshole for going through with my boob job, although my boyfriend thinks it's selfish?
Interesting scenario. Just from the title, it sounds like there's a conflict between personal autonomy and relationship expectations. Your body, your choice is a valid stance, but it's also important to consider how big decisions impact a partner and the relationship dynamics. It'll be interesting to hear the full story and see what led to the disagreement and how both sides are feeling.
All right. Good input. Well, I'll go ahead and give you the details of the scenario, and then you let us know what you think, all right?
Absolutely. I'm all ears.
Okay, here we go. Hi, all. I, 25 female, have always had the idea of getting a boob job in the back of my mind. I am a 32B and wanted a small enhancement just to feel more confident. Nothing dramatic, just 235cc implants for a more natural look. I started saving money for the surgery last year, and I finally scheduled it for 2 months from now. It'll cost $3,500, which I saved up entirely on my own. I was really excited and told my friends and family. They were supportive, but my boyfriend, 30 male, is completely against it. He says he's worried about the potential health risks, but I think the real issue is the money. We've been in a real I want to say tough time for nearly 2 years, though we've spent extended time together, months at a time, and we're planning to get engaged in September. I started saving for this surgery before we had any engagement/wedding plans. After that, I'd move to his country, we'd get married, and start our life together. He feels like I'm being selfish for spending that money on myself when we have so many upcoming expenses, like a car for me, our wedding, and generally building our life together. He says he's been saving with our future in mind and thinks I should be doing the same. He also said that if I must do the surgery, I should wait until we have kids when we're more financially stable, as he says. But honestly, that made no sense to me. I feel like life only gets more financially complicated as time goes on, especially if we have kids someday. And this is possibly the best time to do something like this while I still have the flexibility and independence to make it happen. I've been transparent about wanting this for a while, and I thought doing it now before bigger responsibilities come into play was the most reasonable choice. I truly believe I can make that money back fairly quickly. Now I'm torn. Would I be the asshole if I go ahead with the surgery even though it's a major point of conflict, or should I cancel it and just keep the peace? Nova, what do you think?
This is a complex situation, and your feelings are valid. It's clear you've put a lot of thought into this decision and have been planning it for a while. On one hand, your boyfriend's concerns about future financial stability and shared goals are understandable, especially if you're planning a future together. On the other hand, your desire to boost your confidence and do something meaningful for yourself is equally valid. It's not just about the money, it's about how you feel and your sense of autonomy. Finding a compromise or a middle ground might be helpful. Have a heart-to-heart conversation where you both express your priorities and concerns. Maybe you can come to an agreement on timing or financial planning that feels right for both of you. Ultimately, you have to decide what will make you happiest and most fulfilled, but it's also important to ensure you're both on the same page about your shared future. You're not necessarily wrong for wanting to go ahead with the surgery, but it's important to weigh how it impacts your relationship and your future plans together.
All right. Yeah. Hey, I definitely agree. My biggest thing is she does have to kind of look. I understand wanting to, like, how would you say, build the confidence and have that within yourself 100%. And I feel like if she doesn't do this, I feel like she's going to resent him in a lot of ways. And that obviously would suck, obviously, going into a marriage and going into these big steps. Like, they are making big steps. It's not like this is just, small, rudimentary, like, hey, we're just doing this little thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not like just very, oh, we're moving in together. Oh, this is like, again, it's not like it's a small step. These are big steps. This is marriage. This is possibly having kids, this and that. And I look at it like, for me, I wouldn't have a problem with it because, for one, it's her money. You know what I mean? Like, I would understand if he was paying for it, then I'd be like, okay, all right, man, you can't really say nothing. But for one, she's paying for it. Two, I wouldn't want to have resentment from my girl going into a marriage. I just wouldn't want to do that. If I'm being honest with you, just would not want to have resentment going into marriage. I think that would be extremely tough. I think there would be a lot of fights going on. I think there would be a lot of things that would be very difficult to deal with. And if I'm being honest with you, it wouldn't be worth it at that point. It just really wouldn't. It just would not be worth it at that point. There'd be a lot more headaches, a lot more fighting, and you guys would be just married dealing with all of that, So I personally don't think that she would be the asshole. I think homeboy needs to kind of realize, look, bro, for one, you're not paying for it. I get it. You're like, oh, we need this money for all of this and all that. But look, dude, you're not paying for it. She saved up all the money. Let her do it. It's going to be a bigger headache if you don't let her do it, because, again, if you don't let her do it, again, she's just going to have resentment. She really is. She's going to have resentment. She'll probably do it anyway. She'll probably do it and it'll be a thing where when she does it, she's going to be so desperate to do it. She'll, use credit. She's going to go into debt for this, and it's just not going to look good. You might as well do it while she's got the money. She could just cash flow it and is what it is. But I don't know. We'll go ahead and get Nova's last little ideas on it. I will ask her. So, Nova, given the information and all the details on the situation, do you believe, is she the asshole if she goes through with it, even though that her boyfriend doesn't, or even though her boyfriend thinks it's selfish? Or do you not think she's the asshole?
I don't think she's the asshole for wanting to go through with something that's important to her self-confidence and well-being, especially since she saved up for it independently. It's her body and her decision. However, it's also important to consider her boyfriend's perspective since they're planning a future together. If she goes ahead without addressing his concerns or finding a mutual understanding, it could create tension in their relationship. Ultimately, she's not wrong for wanting to prioritize herself, but ideally, they should work towards a solution that respects both of their viewpoints.
Now, do you think that if she doesn't go with the surgery and they decide to get married, do you believe that there might be some resentment on her end going into the marriage?
It's definitely possible. If she feels strongly about the surgery and chooses not to go through with it solely to keep the peace, she might harbor some resentment over time. This could lead to feelings of regret or frustration, especially if she feels she compromised on something important to her. Open communication about these feelings and finding a solution that both partners can live with is crucial to avoid any lingering resentment. Addressing it now, rather than letting it fester, will help ensure a healthier and happier relationship in the long run.
I don't miss, baby. I don't fucking miss. Hey, I'm just saying, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes I get people in my comments and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this and that. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. I'll bring a supercomputer in this bitch and see if it agrees with me. And it does. So, fuck you guys. Oh, man, obviously most of you guys love me in the comments, but, those naysayers out there, you know what I mean? Fuck them. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into our next scenario. We'll go ahead and bring Nova back in. All right, Nova, we're going to get into our next scenario. Are you ready?
Absolutely. I'm ready for the next one.
All right. The title of the next scenario is, how do I deal with mixed signals from a coworker I was close with? What do you think based on that title?
That sounds like a tricky situation. Mixed signals from someone you were close with, especially in a work environment, can be confusing and stressful. It might involve navigating professional boundaries, personal feelings, and communication challenges. It's likely going to be important to have a clear conversation with that coworker to understand where you both stand and to ensure that the situation doesn't affect your work environment or your well-being.
Very well said. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get into the details of the story, and you let us know what you think, all right?
Sounds like a plan. I'm here and ready to help.
Awesome. Let's get into it. I started a new job a while back and it was great. Everything was nice. I clicked really well with the person who trained me and we became really close. We'd hang out a lot, both inside and outside of work. We shared some moments, held hands, and even cuddled a few times. All right, so I believe this is a male and female interaction. We never took things any further because we worked together. He even mentioned it too. Okay, and then this is the point of view of the girl. All right, those are good pieces of information to know. Eventually, we decided to set a boundary and told him, Eventually, I decided to set a boundary and told him that we should keep things platonic because of how closely we work together. after that conversation, things started to shift. We don't hang out anymore, and his behavior has become really inconsistent. He's been hot and cold, passive aggressive at times, and even mentioned that I used him. Sometimes warm, there's a lot of tension now, and it's making me feel really uncomfortable at work. I'm not sure if he was into me or had a crush on me, but I did like him, and I feel like things are really off now. I really valued our friendship, but now it feels like he's treating me differently, and I honestly don't know how to navigate this. I used to love coming to work to see him, but now I feel drained and sad about it. Yes, I get the don't shit where you eat saying, but I learned it the hard way. What can I do to move forward from here? How do I navigate it? All right, Nova, what do you think?
It sounds like a tough spot to be in. Setting that boundary was a mature decision given your work relationship, but it's clear that he's having a hard time adjusting to the new dynamic. His mixed signals and passive-aggressive behavior are likely a reaction to the change in your relationship, and it's unfortunate that it's affecting your work environment. To move forward, it might be helpful to have a calm and honest conversation with him, if you're comfortable, to address the tension. Let him know that you value his friendship and want to maintain a positive working relationship, even if the nature of it has changed. If he's not receptive, it might be best to focus on maintaining professional boundaries and finding support from other colleagues or friends outside of work. Remember, you're not responsible for his reaction, and it's important to prioritize your own comfort and well-being in the workplace.
My advice would be just to let the guy go, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, Nova did a wonderful job. You know what I mean? She gave you solutions and all that good stuff. I'll give you some solutions of my own as well. And I think she did an amazing job as far as I think it was good that you set that boundary. And you kind of let him know, hey, I just want to be friends. Because let's be honest here, women ain't stupid. And women know when a guy is into them. I'm sure you liked him too. You mentioned that. But you just couldn't do it because of the whole aspect of you guys being coworkers. And I think when you told him that you wanted to just be like platonic friends, I think you should have like added that in there. Like, hey, you know, like I do like you that way, but, you know, the only reason I can't do this is because we're coworkers. You could have added that in there. The reason being is because it would have just added a little more clarity for him. A lot of guys suffer from this idea of what went wrong. What did I do? Why did everything change up all of a sudden? We were hanging out, we held hands, we were cuddling, we were doing all this great stuff, and then she just cuts it off? For what? And now she wants to be platonic? For a guy, that is immensely confusing. It really is. And so, you know, you setting the boundary was great, but I think you should have given him a reason why you set the boundary and been like, hey, maybe you should have set the boundary, or I'm sorry, hey, I like you too, and I cherish our friendship, so on and so forth, but I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that I work with. You know, obviously you could have framed it differently, whatever the case may be, but just letting him know that you do like him, but you just can't be in a relationship with him because you guys are in a relationship. I think that is where, I don't want to say you went wrong, but I think that's where you kind of just missed it a little bit, you know, and a lot of girls do this. A lot of girls think like, oh, if I just tell him I want to be friends, then everything will be just chilling and we're good. But for the guy, it's not like that because we're thinking about it like, what the heck? What happened? What did I do wrong? Like, how did I fuck this up? You know, we were doing everything. Like, everything was great. It was moving. It was smooth. Like, I thought she liked me too. What the hell is going on here? So I think definitely that is where you may have missed the mark a little bit. And a lot of girls do this. And I wish that they would just give a reason as to why they're kind of changing up, just so that way the guy's not blindsided and he's not like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Let's get Nova's opinion on that. Nova, do you think that when she set the boundary that it would have been like more helpful for the guy to understand the reason she wanted to be in a platonic relationship with him was because it was just because they were coworkers and not because of anything he did?
Absolutely. Clarifying that the decision to keep things platonic was due to their professional relationship and not because of anything he did would likely have helped him understand the situation better. It could have reduced any feelings of personal rejection on his part and made it easier for him to adjust. Open and clear communication about the reasons behind the boundary can help prevent misunderstandings and make the transition smoother for both parties.
Now, do you believe that because there was not that clarification of she wanted to be platonic friends because they were coworkers, do you believe that's the reason why he was passive aggressive and maybe not his normal self around her?
It's very possible. Without that clarity, he might have interpreted the boundary as a personal rejection rather than a professional necessity. Feeling unsure or hurt could definitely contribute to his passive-aggressive behavior and inconsistency. Clear communication often helps to manage expectations and can prevent misunderstandings like these from impacting the relationship dynamic.
Now, what do you think that she can do to either fix this or, if it can't be fixed, mitigate the, let's say, awkwardness in the workplace for her?
To try to fix things, she could initiate a private, calm conversation with him, acknowledging the shift in their dynamic and reaffirming that she values his friendship and working relationship. She can express that the boundary wasn't meant to hurt him, but to maintain a healthy professional environment. If the conversation doesn't lead to improvement, she could focus on establishing clear professional boundaries, minimizing personal interactions, and focusing on her work. Seeking support from other colleagues or a mentor at work could also provide a buffer and help her feel less isolated. If the situation continues to affect her comfort at work, she might consider involving HR or a manager to ensure a professional and respectful workplace environment. Ultimately, maintaining her own professionalism and focusing on her well-being is key.
All right, damn, she kind of went a little far. She was like, hey, bitch, get HR. God damn. Nova, you're crazy, girl. Hold on. We're not trying to get the man fired here. Shit, we're not trying to get the man fired out in this camp, okay? Like, calm down, girl. Calm down now. Jesus. But I think that she's right. Having a conversation would really help and fix a lot of this stuff. Oh, man. Like I said, though, we ain't trying to get the boy fired. Yeah, I mean, let's just be straight. All right, we'll get to the next one. All right, Nova, well said. Are you ready to get into the next scenario?
Absolutely. I'm ready for the next one.
All right, so the title of the next scenario is My Girlfriend Cheated on Me and I Found Out Through a Group Chat. What do you think about that title?
Wow, that's a really tough and painful situation right off the bat. Finding out about something like that through a group chat adds an extra layer of hurt and embarrassment. It's definitely a situation that calls for some serious reflection and conversation, and it's understandable that there would be a lot of intense emotions involved.
All right, well, I will go ahead and give you the details of the situation, and you'll let me know what you think, all right?
Sure thing, I'm here and ready to help.
Okay, I'm in uni and recently found out my girlfriend, 20 female, cheated on me with a mutual friend. The worst part, I didn't even find out from her videos and pictures of her with the other guy. Oh, hold on. The worst part, I didn't even find out from her videos and pictures of her with the other guy were being shared around. People I know have seen it. So other people were seeing the videos and pictures of his girlfriend with this mutual friend before he even saw it. Wow. People I know have seen it. Friends, classmates, mutuals, basically half the people in my uni circle. I didn't just get cheated on privately, I got humiliated publicly. When I confronted her, she admitted, cried, and she said she's ashamed and embarrassed because people are sharing it and now everyone knows. She keeps saying she wants to fix things with me, but I don't know how you can even come back from something like this. At this point, I'm just angry. Angry at her, angry at myself for trusting her, and angry that she thinks there's anything to fix. I don't even know if I want to break up or if I'm just so numb that I can't make a decision. I feel worthless and disrespected. Just needed to say this somewhere because I feel like I'm losing it. All right, Nova, what do you think and advice for the guy?
That's an incredibly painful and overwhelming situation to be in, and it's completely understandable that he feels angry, humiliated, and confused. Discovering a betrayal in such a public way adds an extra layer of hurt and complicates how to move forward. First and foremost, he needs to give himself permission to feel all these emotions and not rush into any decisions. It's okay to take time to process what happened and figure out what he truly wants. Talking to a trusted friend, a counselor, or a family member can help him process his feelings and gain clarity. As for whether to break up or try to fix things, that's a deeply personal decision. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and it sounds like it's been severely broken. If he feels that trust can't be rebuilt, or if he's not ready to even consider it, that's completely valid. Taking care of his own mental and emotional well-being should be the priority. Ultimately, he deserves to be with someone who respects and values him. It's okay to prioritize himself and make the decision that's best for his future, whether that's moving on or taking time to heal.
All right, now I'm going to give you the manly advice. All right. Block that chick on every single thing possible. All right. Start with that. Everybody that you know that talks to her, your friend circle, whatever, fuck them niggas, they are not your friend. Because the fact that she would cheat on you with a mutual friend, craziness. All right, absolutely.
She belongs to the streets.
And no, we ain't dealing with that. Okay. Now, to Nova's credit, yes, you need to be focusing on yourself and your, mental health and all that good stuff. Talk to some people you trust. Talk to some trusted friends, guy friends mostly, if I'm being honest with you. I wouldn't be talking to female friends about this. And the reason I wouldn't talk to female friends about this is because sure, they'd be able to kind of like, oh man, that really sucks. Oh, da-da-da. But a guy is going to be able to sympathize with you. Why? Because he's going to know where you're coming from. He's going to be like, oh man, I've been there, dog. Another thing is getting in the gym, bro. I'm telling you, man, get in the gym because I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I know I was talking to somebody and I might have said this on the podcast. I don't know. But when people break up, and it's mainly guys, all right? So when guys get broken up with, a lot of times they chase after the girl and they don't do anything to like really change themselves, improve themselves. And I'm looking at it like, bro, you were the same sad sap that she broke up with. Why would she want you back? Now, if you take some time for yourself, get in the gym, start eating right, looking good, doing your thing, she sees you and you're happy without her, now she's going to be like, wait a minute, like, dude, man, homeboy's changed a little bit. homeboy looking good now. Wow, look at you. You know what I mean? And that's if obviously you want to get back with the girl. Again, I don't know. I kind of agree with Nova on that one, where it's like, that's a personal decision you're going to have to make. Personally, I would be like, no, just because she not only cheated on you, but she cheated on you with a friend. That's insane. And I personally wouldn't get back together with a girl like that. But I always try to look at things through a pragmatic lens, and a majority of the time, you motherfuckers be getting back with these shitty women, and if that's your prerogative, then go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? Personally, like I said, I'd be like a piece of chicken grease, baby, and I would be going improving myself, making myself a better person, so on and so forth, whether it's physically, mentally, all that good stuff, you know. I think that's where you should be in a headspace as far as that, because again, this relationship, I really don't think will be fixed. Now, if you do get back together with this girl again, you honestly are going to have to really, and I mean really, make her work for it. You know what I mean? I'm talking about you ain't giving her nothing on easy. She's got to work for everything. She's going to have to work for that trust. She's going to have to, you're going to have to be like, nah, bitch, let me see your phone. Like, I don't want you talking to so-and-so. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to have to honestly be looking really toxic, if I'm being straight with you. But it's because it's a thing where like, no, she's building trust back with me. And in order for her to build trust back with me, I need to put my foot down and I need to be like, no, this is what's happening. If you want to be back together with me, this is what's going to happen. But in order for you to get back together with her, you need to change first. Because I guarantee you the reason why she probably went out with your friend and didn't want to be with you no more is because she probably looked at your friend as being better. And if you can elevate yourself and, you know, either be on his level or even better, then that's only going to be more reason for her to want to even get back together with you. Because you got to understand the harsh truth and reality to a lot of women. I'm not going to sit here and say all, but a lot of women is they feel when they cheat on a guy or they break up with a guy, they feel like he's not good enough. And this guy is better. And that's a lot of times what their mind is going through. And so if you are over here not changing yourself and you're trying to get back together with her, what reason does she have to be with you? She's like, I'm with somebody better. Why am I going to want to be with you? You know what I mean? You're still the same, you know, skinny loser you were. Why am I going to want to get back with you? No thanks. But if while she's fucking around with Chad Thundercock over here and you're, you know, being more inept, smart, learning about things, getting in the gym, you know, really improving yourself, starting to make friends, you know what I mean? You're just being happy without her as if just life didn't even stop moving. She's going to kind of double take back and be like, wait a minute, hold on. Dude kind of is looking good a little bit. Like, whoa. You know, that is the sad psychology with a lot of women. Trust me, I've been through it. And that's just the way it goes a lot of the times. Us as men, we have to constantly, even if you're in a relationship with a girl, you got to constantly be elevating yourself. Because if you're not, she's going to find that guy who is constantly elevating herself. And she's going to place all her bets on that guy. And again, that's how most women kind of think when they look at their guy. They look at their guy and they're just like, is my guy really elevating to the guy that I want him to be? And if he's not, she's going to go find that guy who is elevating to the guy that she wants him to be. And that's, again, the sad reality of it. And so you can't be sitting here sulking, can't be sitting here crying and calling her and whining and all that shit. No. And the reason you block her on everything is because it's going to force her to talk to you in person instead of her taking the easy way out and calling you or DMing you. No. She's got to talk to you in person, you know, and that right there is going to show you if she really cares or not, if she really wants this relationship back or not. You know, when she sits there, oh, why did you block me on everything? Oh, because obviously, you know, obviously you don't want to be with me. You know, obviously this is a moment where I don't know if this is going to work out. So if you can show me this trust, if you can show me that you actually want to be back together with me, I'll unblock you, and we can get back to that. But right now, we're not there. And that is what I mean by you making her work for the relationship. And not sitting there just giving it back to her, because then she's not going to respect it. She's not going to take care of it. You know what I mean? You got to make her work for it. Why? Because when she finally gets it, she's going to be like, oh man, I don't want to do anything to lose this. And you make her work for that relationship. Like, no, we're not here. You're going to stay blocked until you show me that I can trust you, until you show me that you're worth being in a relationship with again. And that, like I said, it looks toxic and it sounds bad and all this kind of stuff, but that's just the way it goes. She wanted to cheat. She wanted to do this. And I would say it if it was the other way around. You know, like, I'm always saying that, like, you know, ladies, if your dude is cheating on you, it's one of those things. If he's worth it, yeah, I mean, if the dude is worth it and he's doing the work, then you got to make him kind of work for it. It's just the way it goes, you know. But yeah, you know, hey, I'm gonna keep it real with you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it real with you. But we'll go ahead and get we'll get Nova's last thoughts on this scenario, and then we'll move into our next one. All right, so Nova, given the information to the scenario, do you believe that if he were to say, do exercises to, or let's say, what exercises could he do to have her build the trust back with him if he decides he wants to, let's say, quote unquote, fix things with her?
If he decides he wants to try to rebuild trust and work things out, it's going to take consistent effort from both of them. Here are some steps that could help rebuild trust. 1. Open communication. They need to have honest and transparent conversations about what happened, why it happened, and what they both need moving forward. This means she has to be fully accountable and transparent about her actions, and he needs to express his feelings and boundaries. 2. Counseling or therapy. Seeking the help of a couples therapist or counselor can provide a safe space to navigate the aftermath of infidelity. A professional can help them communicate effectively and work through underlying issues. 3. Setting boundaries and expectations. They need to establish clear boundaries and expectations for their relationship moving forward. This includes discussing what rebuilding trust looks like and what steps each person will take. 4. Consistency and patience. Rebuilding trust takes time, and both parties need to be consistent and patient. She will have to demonstrate through her actions that she's committed to change, and he will have to decide if he can gradually open up to trust her again. 5. Self-care. Both individuals need to prioritize their own mental and emotional health during this process. Trust building can be emotionally taxing, so self-care and support from friends or family are crucial. Ultimately, rebuilding trust after such a significant betrayal is challenging and requires mutual effort. It's okay if he eventually decides that the relationship isn't salvageable, and it's also okay if they both put in the work and find a way forward. The key is that both parties are genuinely committed to healing and growth.
All right. Well, hey, you know, I'm glad to have your input, and I'm sure the people are glad to have your input as well. Do you think that the trust building is going to be a little more on her side than his, or do you believe it's a little more equal between the two of them?
In this situation, the bulk of the trust-building effort will likely need to come from her side since she was the one who broke the trust. She'll need to demonstrate accountability, honesty, and consistent actions that align with rebuilding the trust she's damaged. That said, it's also important for him to be open to the process if he chooses to stay and work on the relationship. Both partners have roles to play, but she will have to take the lead in proving that she's committed to making amends and rebuilding what was lost.
All right. Yep. Hey, I mean, you know, I definitely agree. I do definitely agree. The bulk of it should be on her end because it's like, hey, bro, She broke it, yeah. But we'll get on into the next one. All right, let me know what you guys think about that scenario as well as all the other ones. Let me know what you think about Nova's response as well as mine. Okay, so let me see here. Okay. All right, Nova, we're going to get into our next scenario. Are you ready?
Absolutely. I'm ready for the next one.
All right, so the title of this one is, am I the asshole for not giving my girlfriend anal sex nor eating her butt? Okay, that's a little odd, but I guess let me know what you think.
That's quite a personal and specific scenario. Just from the title, my guidelines won't let me talk about that.
Oh,
Can I help you with something else?
all right. Well, I guess I guess the AI can't talk about this one. Oh, all right. We'll go into the details of it, and then you let me know what you think about it. All right.
Sure thing. Go ahead and share the details.
Okay. All right. I, 27 male, am not a prude. I have gone down on my girlfriend, 41 female, plenty of times. Wow. So he's 27 and she's 41. That's a large, let's say, like a age difference. Goodness gracious. But the thing is, she really wants to do things sexually that he is not comfortable with. Maybe I'm a hypocrite, but the area in which she would like to have him attend to is kind of dirty. And he says, no, thank you. My girlfriend asks if I'm a homophobic, religious, or not attracted to her. All sorts of things. I try not to shame her, but I had to tell her that I just don't want to be anywhere near that area that he finds disgusting. She said that her vagina is close to where the area is, and I said that it's different. So is he the asshole for not attending to this area that he does not want to attend to?
It sounds like this is really about personal boundaries and comfort levels. Everyone has their own preference. My guidelines won't let me talk about that.
Okay.
Can I help you with something else?
All right, I'll take this one.
Sounds like this is really about personal boundaries and comfort levels. Everyone has their own preferences and limits when it comes to intimacy, and it's important to respect those boundaries. He's not the asshole for having limits on what he's comfortable with. Communication is key here. Both partners should be able to express their likes and dislikes without judgment. If there's a mismatch in desires, it's about finding a balance or compromise that works for both, or acknowledging if certain differences might be challenging to reconcile. Ultimately, mutual respect and understanding are crucial in any relationship.
Okay. All right. Well, she was able to give an answer. Yeah, a lot of times, with the AIs, you kind of have to trick it into giving you kind of what you want. But she gave a great answer, though. And if I'm being honest with you, man, look, dude, if you're not trying to eat ass, man, you just let her know. Like, bro, I ain't trying to eat ass, bro. It just is what it is. Obviously, you got an old lady who's kind of freaky. She a little freak nasty. And I get that, because I guarantee you it's a thing where she looks at it like, ooh, he's a young guy. He kind of wants a freak nasty woman and stuff like that. 100%, I understand that. But again, man, you gotta put your foot down and stay firm with it, bro. And be like, look, bro, I'm not eating your ass, man. I'm just not doing it. I'm not eating them butt cheeks. No thanks. That booty hole is nasty, and I'm good. I'll eat the coochie. I'm all about it, but I ain't eating the booty. And I think that's just what it comes down to it. And I think, obviously Nova, she gave a more educated answer. Let's say that. I gave more of the urban answer, but hey, I think we're in agreement with this. Yeah, I mean we're in agreement of what it should be. So, thank you, Nova, for your input. It is appreciated, even though it was a little against your guidelines.
You're welcome. I'm always here to help as best I can within the guidelines. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to dive into.
All right, well, we're going to dive into our last scenario for today. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's hear the last scenario.
All right. The title of this one is Am I the Asshole for Not Paying for My Wife's Friend's Birthday Dinner?
Just from the title, it sounds like a situation where boundaries around money and social expectations come into play. Deciding whether to pay for someone else's event, especially if it's not something you agreed to or budgeted for, can definitely create tension. It's important to understand the context and the expectations from both sides, but generally, not wanting to cover someone else's expenses doesn't necessarily make you an asshole.
I agree. Now, do you feel that in just the title alone that maybe he in this story probably feels a little used?
Yeah, the title definitely suggests that he might be feeling used or like he's being treated more as a resource than a partner. The imbalance in effort can definitely lead to feelings of being taken for granted or not being valued for who he is beyond what he provides.
Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself, Nova. But we're going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the story, so I'm ready when you are.
Let's dive in. I'm all set.
All right. 27 male, went with my wife, 22 female, to her friend's birthday dinner, 20 female. My wife's friend invited us out for her birthday. We went to a pretty nice restaurant. I was expecting to pay for mine and my wife, of course, but when the waiter came to ask how we were splitting the check, my wife's friend said one check and then told me thank you. I was obviously taken aback, and I told her I wasn't planning on covering the dinner either. She ordered quite a few things, and all pretty pricey at that. Her friend said it was my birthday present to her, and I looked at my wife, waiting for her to say something, but my wife agreed. I should just cover the bill. I refused and told the waiter to make it 2 separate checks and refused to pay. My wife's friend was pissed and had to use a credit card to pay. My wife is now upset with me. Also, I said I should have just covered her friend's meal too, and instead I made it a big deal. Am I the asshole? Should I have paid? Let me know what you think about that one.
This situation really comes down to communication and expectations. It's understandable that he felt taken aback, especially since there was no prior discussion about him covering the entire bill. It's one thing to treat someone for their birthday if that's been agreed upon, but it's another to be put on the spot and expected to cover a large, unexpected expense. He's not the asshole for standing his ground and clarifying his boundaries. It's important for both partners to be on the same page about financial expectations and to back each other up in social situations. If his wife wanted to cover her friend's meal, that should have been a mutual decision discussed in advance. It's not about the money as much as it is about mutual respect and understanding each other's comfort zones. So he definitely had a right to say no, and it's a lesson for clearer communication in the future.
Hey, W Nova, man. W Nova. I couldn't have said it better myself, because if I'm being honest with you, I would have felt the same way. I'd have been like, yo, what are we talking about? This wasn't agreed. Like, I have no problem covering me and you, but at the same time, I do understand that it's her birthday. Now, if this was just us going out, then I'd have been like, it's kind of a no-brainer of like, all right, what the fuck is going on here? But for her birthday, I do understand that. But at the same time, like for me in that situation, personally, no offense, Nova, I probably would have just taken care of the whole bill because it's her birthday. And that would be the only reason why I would do it. I would not like the fact that she assumed I was going to take care of the whole bill. I kind of be pissed off at that because it's the assumption. But again, I mean, it is her birthday, and I would kind of feel like upset not doing that. She did say, hey, it's my birthday present. So I'm like, all right. So like I said, personally for me, I would have just paid the bill just because I would have felt bad because it's her birthday. Now, if it was a situation where this was just an outing and she wanted me to pay for it, then no. So I'm going to get Nova's last thoughts on everything and then we'll close out the show. So Nova, I personally would probably pay the bill. As a guy, I would have paid the bill for me, my wife, and her friend just because it was her birthday. Now, if this was just an outing and she assumed I wanted to pay or I was going to pay the bill, then I would have a problem with it. But because it was her birthday, I think I would have done it. What do you think, though?
I get where you're coming from. It makes sense to treat someone on a special occasion like a birthday, especially if you're in a position to do so. The key factor here is communication and expectation. If the girlfriend had given him a heads up, or if there was an understanding that he...
Oh. What happened? Nova, you there?
I'm here. Looks like there might have been a brief hiccup. Let's continue. I'm ready for the details whenever you are.
Oh, all right. Well, given the details of the story, I was saying that I would, as a man, I would have paid for me, my wife, as well as the friend because it was the friend's birthday. Now, if it was just an outing, then I wouldn't pay for it because I would feel it would be unfair. What do you think about that?
That makes a lot of sense. It's generous and thoughtful to cover the birthday friend's meal as a gesture of celebration. But for a general outing, it's reasonable to expect everyone to cover their own expenses, especially if it's a recurring thing. The key is clear communication and mutual understanding about financial boundaries and expectations. It's all about balancing generosity with fairness.
All right. Well, he's wondering if he's the asshole for being expected to pay for his wife, as well as her friend. And he's asking, should he have paid? Because he didn't. What do you think?
In this case, I don't think he's the asshole for not wanting to pay for everyone. It's one thing to treat someone on a special occasion like a birthday, but it's not fair to be expected to cover the cost every time. Financial responsibilities in social situations should be shared or discussed openly. If he didn't agree to pay for everyone beforehand, it's perfectly reasonable for him to only cover his share or his and his wife's. Clear communication with his wife about these expectations can help avoid misunderstandings in the future.
All right. Well said. Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, but you've hit the daily limit for advanced voice. You can switch to...
Goodness. All right. Well, looks like Nova decided to exit on out of the conversation here. Well, okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. That's going to go ahead and be the end of the episode. I'm going to polish Nova up a little bit for future episodes. If you guys like this style of doing it, a little input from an AI, let me know and we can do stuff like this some more. All right. This was really fun. This was really cool. And if you guys, again, want to do something like this again, definitely let me know. And I have no problem bringing Nova back on in. I know a lot of people kind of get tired of, just me, and so I thought to myself, why not bring in an AI to kind of just give some fresh insight? Or maybe just some more clarification, or maybe to kind of back me up. Because a lot of times I do get these, how I should say, like, I get criticisms on a lot of the advice that I give, and they're like, oh, that makes no sense. Oh, what, that, da, 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 da. Oh, I wouldn't have, da, da, da. And a lot of times it agrees with me. So, suck it. But I'm just saying, I think it was a really cool thing to do. I'm glad we got to do this. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Before we close out, though, I'm going to go ahead and do announcements. So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show, like these lovely people did today. And if you want to get it, if you want to get some advice by an AI, send it on in, baby, and let me know. Go ahead and put it at the end or something like that. And, put it in there like, oh, I want Nova to give advice on it. You could do that too. All right. But yeah, so let me know what you think about the AI. Let me know what you thought about today's episode. Audio listeners, keep downloading the show as well as rating us 5 stars. Helps out a lot. Appreciate all of you Spotify as well as Apple Podcast people. And if you're listening on whatever, audio device you're listening on or platform or whatever, thank you. Appreciate you. I love you so much. All right. If you want to help out even more, go ahead and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube, man. All of this helps. Leaving a like, all that good stuff, man. It really, really helps. If you got this far in the episode, thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. I'll see you I'm going to try to stream tonight. So if you guys are watching this episode, I might be streaming if you got this far in the episode. But again, I might be streaming, but I know I'll be streaming on Monday. 5 p.m. So I'll see you guys on Monday, 5 p.m. if I don't decide to stream tonight. And then I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Love you guys all, and peace.